Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into the story of a nation in motion. We're going to unpack the key pillars that supported the incredible transformation of India after independence, shaping it into the country that it is today.
So think about it for a second. How does an entire country go through a total transformation? As we're about to see, it's never just one single thing. It's more like a domino effect, a whole series of massive, fundamental shifts. Let's dig into the source material and see exactly how it all went down. Okay, first things first. Before you can build anything big, you need a solid foundation. And for a nation, that means being able to stand on its own 2 feet. This first pillar is all about securing the absolute basics: food, resources, and energy. It's about building a bedrock of self-sufficiency. And the absolute cornerstone of that foundation? The Green Revolution, which kicked off around 1965. Now, this was way more than just trying to grow a bit more food. It was a really smart, strategic plan to use new scientific methods to completely overhaul agriculture. For a country with a huge and growing population, this wasn't just a good idea, it was absolutely essential. So, once the food grains were sorted, what was next? Well, milk entered the White Revolution. This was a massive cooperative dairy movement led by the visionary Dr. Verghese Kurian. And again, this wasn't just about milk. It was another huge piece of that national self-reliance puzzle clicking into place.
With food and dairy taken care of, the next big hurdle was energy. And the source points to a major push into atomic power. But what's really fascinating here is the focus. This wasn't about weapons. It was about peaceful uses. Things like generating energy for cities and even developing new medicines. With that, the foundation was truly set.
All right, so with those foundations solid, India was ready for its next big move. This brings us to pillar number 2, the technological leap. This part of the story is all about ambition, it's about science, and it's about, well, reaching for the stars, quite literally. Now this timeline is so cool because you can see how one big idea just sparked the next one. That very same atomic program, the one established by Dr. Homi Bhabha, became the launchpad for India's dreams of space exploration. From that foundation came the successful launch of the Aryabhata satellite in 1975, and that was just the beginning of what is now a really successful space program. But this huge technological leap wasn't just about looking up at the sky, it was also about connecting people right here on the ground. That same innovative spirit fueled a revolution in telecommunications. And this was more than just laying down some cables. It was about weaving the entire country together, connecting this vast and diverse nation in a way that had never been done before. It really set the stage for the digital powerhouse it's become.
So, a country can have food security and amazing technology, but that's not the whole story, is it? For a transformation to be real, it has to happen on a human level. And the source material we're looking at is really clear on this point. Our third pillar dives into the really challenging work of reforming society from the inside out.
The source points to 2 major areas of social change happening at the same time. On one hand, you have a huge push for the empowerment of women. This meant creating new government departments, passing laws against practices like dowry, ensuring equal pay, and really importantly, reserving seats in local government to make sure women's voices were part of the political process. On the other hand, there was a parallel effort to uplift communities that had been historically deprived. This involved setting up commissions to study inequality and strengthening affirmative action policies to promote justice and representation. And that leads us right into our fourth and final pillar, India's new role on the world stage. You see, after decades of all this internal development, a new force, globalisation, started to bring about this huge wave of change, affecting the economy, politics, and culture. So what exactly is globalization? Well, the source describes it as this huge, sweeping process that brings changes across, well, pretty much everything, from the economy and politics to science, technology, and culture. This new era of being so interconnected was about to completely reshape India's place in the world. And here's the key takeaway. India wasn't just letting globalization happen to it. It stepped up and became a major player on the world stage. As you can see here, this meant taking a seat at the big tables, becoming an important member of powerful international groups like the G20 and BRICS. It was a clear signal of its growing influence. But this global shift wasn't just happening in high-level political meetings. It was changing everyday life for regular people. In fact, the source calls it a total transformation in the lifestyle of Indians, and especially for young people. All of a sudden, global trends were influencing everything, from the food people ate to the clothes they wore and even the languages they spoke. The world was getting smaller, and India was right at the center of it.
When you take a step back and look at the whole picture, you can really see how all these pieces fit together. From feeding its people to reaching for the stars, from tackling tough social reforms to embracing a new role in the world, each step was a critical part of one single, profound story of national transformation. So we've walked through the 4 pillars of this incredible national journey, but a story like this never really has a final chapter, and that leads us to a really important question for the future. After building itself up so profoundly and changing so quickly, what kind of new challenges start to bubble up from within?